Hey guys, this is Robert Ness 816, and yes, so that Genesis that I picked up this morning is all back together. It's all nice and clean. I'm playing Jewel Master right now. So this Genesis had an issue with the reset button not working. It's a quick fix, and I actually unsoldered the old one and put in another one that I repaired. So it now works, but this is the original one, and I wanted to show you what I did to fix it. So I removed this just because, you know, whatever, it's now a spare part, so if I ever have a problem with anything else in the future, I'll just swap it out. But ideally, you'd want to leave the reset button on the board instead of unsoldering it like I did. You'd want to remove this little button membrane, and I'll actually zoom in closer. So here's a close-up, and you would want to gently remove the button membrane from this plastic base. And if you grab it gently by this leading edge right here where it has the wider opening where the lead's coming out, you can see it's right here actually. That's where you'd want to remove it from. Gently pull it out and it will come out from between the base and the rubber here will separate from that after a while, so you gently remove that because it can rip easily. And what happens typically is these contacts get tarnish buildup on them just from age, or if moisture got in there or something was spilled on it. So you'd want to take a Q-tip and 91% rubbing alcohol and just dab in there and just kind of rub it around, going in like a swirling motion. Okay, so the camera's on a tripod, so this is dipped in 91% rubbing alcohol, and you're just going to stick the Q-tip in there and move it around in like a swirling motion. And that will remove any tarnish buildup that is built up on there. And take your button membrane and do the same. And it's a very small membrane, but just kind of twist it around in there a little bit. And you will see a little bit of black stuff coming off of there. So just keep doing that over and over again. And most of the time it's the actual membrane itself that gets the tarnish buildup on it. It's actually a mixture of both though, but it's good to clean both items anyways. So then you're going to take a very small flathead screwdriver like this. Actually, if you just take the bit itself if you can. And you're going to stick it. Let me just see if I can get closer even. Okay, so this is as close as I can get with this particular camera. So you're going to take your flathead screwdriver and you're going to stick it between these little folds here. So if you can see the little channel where the rubber needs to fit into, if you try to stick the rubber back in with the base like this, you'll never be able to get it back in. You'll probably rip the rubber and just get frustrated with it. So what I do is take a very small flathead screwdriver tip and just actually raise up these lips here. Sorry if this is out of focus though, because I'm not actually, there we go. So you can see I'm just kind of twisting the screwdriver a little bit just to raise the lip up, and I'm going to do that for all four sides. So you can see now I have a channel to work with, and once I get the rubber back in, I'm actually just going to push these back down so that it stays in. Gotta do this to all four sides. So, Jewel Master's got some catchy tunes to it. It's one of those underrated games, at least for me, that's actually pretty damn good. So this is time consuming, but it's something that will fix your Genesis and make it work again. I'm not really sure if you can actually get brand new replacement buttons, but you know, it's always good just to, I guess, try and save the original stuff if you can. So I'm just kind of looking around and trying to spot any place on here where I can see openings that need to be widened. Alright, so now I'm going to take my reset button, the membrane, and just try to feed it in here. And this is time consuming, like I said, so it's not going to be super easy to do. But if you have steady hands, it'll be fairly easy. If you're shaky, then not so much. So you can see that went in there pretty darn easily. And now this reset button's ready to go, so I can actually take my fingernail and just kind of push down on these edges here. So granted, it might be easier for you to unsolder the button instead of working with it on the board, but if you're not good at soldering, then this might be an easier route. Push this down a little bit more. No, that's not in there. Not in there properly. Oh no. So yeah, you gotta make sure it's actually seated in there. It'll still work like this though, but there's a chance that it could pop out. So I'm just gonna gently raise that up. It's a fairly common issue with the Genesis, with the reset button. There we go. That's seems to be back in there, and I'm just gonna poke it with my little plastic poker dealie. Good. Now it's right. Okay, and there you go. I'm actually surprised I was able to do that in one take, but so there is your freshly repaired reset button, and it's ready to go back into whatever Genesis I come across in the future. So with the Model 2 Genesis especially, it's always an issue with it for some reason. Model 1s don't usually have this problem with the reset button, but I don't know. Also something to note between Model 1 and Model 2 Genesis, they both use the exact same reset button, so you can just kind of swap it out and do whatever. So the reset button that's in here is actually from a Model 1 Genesis that I'm using for parts, and this is now a spare, so there you go.